Hi, and thanks a lot for watching the Diaspora Lifestyle Show, whereby we'll bring to you the latest on what's happening in the diaspora. Make sure you visit our website, diasporalifestyle.com, and also like our page on Facebook, The Diaspora Lifestyle. My name is Jermaine Sanwoolu, the CEO of Diaspora PR, photographer and publisher at Diaspora Lifestyle Magazine. You can follow me at This is Jermaine on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. I look forward to engaging with you. Now, today we have a very, very interesting episode because we have a very special guest on the show today who is going to be bringing you some inspiration and some insight into what she does as a person and how she's been able to reach the top of her game. I'm talking about the diaspora with a difference, someone whose music has been able to transcend on cultures, and she has been entertaining thousands in audiences and crowds, private parties, concerts around the world. I'm talking than the one and only DJ Cuppy. Yes, she's with us on the Diaspora Lifestyle Show, and I can tell you, you're in for a great time today. So sit back, relax, and watch DJ Cuppy have a chat with me on the Diaspora Lifestyle Show. Thanks a lot for watching. Hi Cuppy, how you doing?
I'm good. It's such a pleasure to be on the show. I mean, it's so exciting. It's amazing how there's a young generation representing Nigeria and Africa around the whole world.
Yes, yeah, thank you, it is. And we're so glad that you are one of the ambassadors, making our name and showing that, we're proudly Nigerian. So well done.
Absolutely. I mean, I was born in Lagos, so I always say, take me anywhere, but you can never take me away from home.
Yeah.
So I think that it's important, to just sort of spread that good news, spread our culture, spread our energy. I've lived in places from London to New York, and I have to say there's Nigerians everywhere, and they're all representing, and people are really now starting to understand. They've always known about Nigerians, but they're finally starting to understand us.
I believe so. I believe in communicating our culture, and you said the energy too, and you're doing that excellently well, with your music, and the whole world knows you, DJ Cuppy and all.
Aww.
And that has been a fantastic way of, communicating our culture and our values to the world. So what inspired you to go into music? And, from one inspiration, you're now taking action and touching nations.
Well, I've always loved music. I think growing up in Lagos, which is such a multicultural city, it's hard to not get involved with creatives. From a young age at school, they had us singing, they had us drawing, they had us storytelling. I love the way us Nigerians, we really are naturally good at the arts. Whether or not we take it as professions, we all love music, the power of music. We use it when it comes to religion. We use it even when it comes to politics. We use it for entertainment. So sort of growing up in that environment, it was hard to stay away from music. I remember when I was 7 listening to Fela Kuti in the car with my dad. From a young age, I think I began singing before I could even talk.
Wow.
So I think from a young age, I definitely knew that music was important to me. I grew up in a household where there's a lot of strong characters. My parents always pushed me to have a voice of my own, and it turns out that music became a way of expressing myself. When I moved out of Nigeria to the UK when I was about 13 years old, I remember feeling so homesick. I missed the food, it was cold, and music was the one thing that I could hold on to. So when I missed Nigeria, when I missed my family, I would just sort of listen to the music, it would take me back. And over the years, it's amazing. I recently went on a tour around 7 countries in Africa, 8 actually, including Nigeria. Cuppy Takes Africa, which is now a show on Fox. And I have to say, the only thing that allowed me to even produce such an amazing project was the fact that I was Nigerian. People respect our craft, they respect our opinions, they respect our positioning in Africa as the biggest economy, but also as the biggest entertainers. When it comes to our movies, we're at the top. When it comes to our music, we're at the top. And we produce such an amazing amount of content. So, I think just sort of being from Nigeria, it just puts that energy with that creativity has just given me what I've got. And a lot of people, I recently turned 24 years old, and a lot of people have said, well, you've graduated. I did a master's in music in New York University.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I've finally I'm done with education, having my sort of 2 degrees. People have said, why haven't you moved back home? And I've said that, you know what? You can represent outside, and you actually can do just as effective when it comes to cementing that sort of representation we have as being there. I almost feel like, especially with everything going on, we live in a very confusing world. Things are very uncertain. More than anything, us Nigerians and us Africans outside of the country and outside of the continent need to put in extra work to make sure that we're protecting our reputation, we're being great examples, we're telling people about this amazing home we have. You know, we spread the word out much quicker than those actually back home.
Yes,
we are advocates for Africa, advocates for Nigeria. So I'm using my music and my talent to represent that and to spread my word.
Wow, that's very good. I like your analogy and how you're able to explain using music as a tool, to shape culture and also to showcase what we are doing to the whole world. That's very good. And so your music now, it's like a fusion of many kind of styles.
Yes.
What would you say you like the most, and what gets you up every morning? What keeps you buzzing?
That's a great question. I think asking me my favorite sort of type of music is like asking a mother her favorite child. I always say, and I found this very difficult, especially when I go back home. I think it's so important to be diverse. I've lived in Nigeria till I was 13, lived in the UK for 8 years, lived in America for 2 years. I am a product of my experiences, so everywhere I go, I pick influences. So that's allowed me to be an open format DJ. It was amazing. We were having a chat. I DJ'd at Elton John's party.
Yes, you mentioned
2 days
that.
ago, and
Wow.
I played Ojo Elegba.
Wow.
And I DJ'd as well at President Buhari's inauguration, which was amazing. And I played a Pharrell record. Everywhere I go, I'm sort of rearranging the rules. I'm challenging people's ears. I really, 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 I do not like predictability. I don't like it when people do not feel challenged. I don't like being comfortable. I don't want people to sort of book me and say, oh, okay, well, this is what she's going to play. I love being different, and that's allowed me to always have a unique positioning in the market. I mean, apart from that, being a female DJ is pretty unique. I would love to see more female DJs. And, I always used to ask myself, why are there not a lot of female DJs? But I have to say, Jermaine, as I've sort of grown and I've gone more into my craft, I see why it is challenging. I think there's a very, very, very big, thick glass ceiling for women. And, to this day, even though, I've been able to build a very, very strong reputation and positioning for myself as a female DJ, I go to gigs and, the manager is still trying to tell me, oh, this is how you turn the decks on. People are still saying, was that really you, or were you playing a CD? It's so unfortunate. I think for a lot of young African women, we have to sort of work twice as hard to achieve half as much. And that is difficult. But you know what? It keeps me going, because I think the reward is young girls coming up to me saying, Cuppy, I want to be a DJ. Wow. I have to say, growing up in Nigeria, we know, having a female DJ is definitely not a tradition of ours. And that's why as well, I made sure that I didn't allow my profession sort of deter me from my education. People sort of say when they deal with my brand, I work with a lot of people, they're like, Cuppy, you're so professional. Your attention to detail is impeccable. And that's because of my education. Unfortunately, a lot of our artists, they don't get the chance to sort of go through school, or they don't get the chance. Music is very creatively based. But I have to say, my classroom knowledge, I also apply to my business. Branding is a 2016 concept that has really become a profession in its own.
Absolutely.
It's great singing a song, but if you're not able to run a commercial business and also open doors and opportunities for others as you go through them, what good is it? So it's amazing how, yes, I I decided to do 2 degrees. I did an undergrad in economics in King's College.
Wow.
And of course, I did my master's in music in NYU. So that's sort of 5 years, which a lot of people have said you could have just been DJing for 5 years. But actually, even though they said it brought me behind, because a lot of the times I couldn't do some gigs because I was in school, I think it propelled me forward. And, this is exclusive to Diaspora Lifestyle. I'm thinking of doing a PhD.
Wow!
I'm thinking of it.
That's amazing.
I would have to somehow miraculously create the time, but I'm feeling really inspired to do one. There's so much to study, There's such amazing things to discover. The African community and our activities and operations are completely untapped. I'd love to study more into the sort of the lifestyle, the algorithms of our diaspora as well.
Oh, that would be quite interesting, and you're very articulate, and I'm sure you will do very well at that. That's very good.
Well, it is 4, 5, 6 years of research, but it will be definitely fulfilling.
Yes, it would be, because I was even going to say that you have so much inspiration that you exude, and I'm sure many from doing the PhD, getting more knowledge about what you love to do, you're able to even communicate that to the younger generation. Absolutely. And also even educating even more in those in the creative and having that education gap. So you'll be the doctor of the entertainment industry. Dr. Cuppy, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. I'm sure you've noticed this. I believe the value in what I do is what I leave behind. And, I learned this from my dad, who is such a hardworking businessman.
Yes.
He tells me this story all the time. He's like, look at Walt Disney, look at Mr. Disney, look at Rolls, look at Mr. Rolls, Mr. Royce, look at Mr. Cadbury. These are legacies built completely beyond their founders, and I would love to build something that outgrows me, that outlives me, because, life is short, people come, people go. Yes, I want to be the biggest DJ in the world, but going on tour made me realize the responsibility we have. And I have to say, my generation does sometimes worry me. I mean, I speak like I'm older, but, I find a lot of us, we lack inspiration. It's almost like this era of technology and era of information and accessibility has worked against us, where we're so confused. We can't stick to one thing, so I really, really think it's important to pick something and just really, really, really give it as much impact as you can. So in the lane of my DJing, I want to continue to represent Nigeria around the world. I want to continue to inspire young African women. And I definitely want to sort of be an advocate for how important education is. Whichever field you're in, it gives you a confidence, it gives you a positioning, and it gives you an opinion. A lot of young women, they don't even have opinions. I love, at home, our favorite thing to do is sit down at dinner while we're having our amala and all these things. And we love to have debates. And it's amazing. That's how I was raised, to be challenged, to challenge others, and that's something that a lot of people that don't live outside Nigeria don't experience, because you have to understand, unfortunately, I think Nigeria, the way our society is to some extent very sexist, and a lot of women don't get their voices heard, so it's so important to let them know that you can, and education is part of that.
Yes, it is part of that. Education, as I say, it's powerful. Knowledge is power. And, you've spoken a lot about, diversity, unpredictability, and creativity. What are we going to see from Cuppy next, business-wise? Are you going to start up a record label? What are you going to do?
Well, I've already started, I've started a music management company called Red Velvet Music Group. So we have an office in East London, which is very exciting. It's also a studio. It's a creative space. So we have a lot of exciting things there. We do monthly hangouts called #RVMG. So the company is called Red Velvet Music Group, but it's RVMG for short. So if anyone wants more information, they should check out redvelvetmusicgroup.com. So that company, what it does is it manages talent, including myself, including my sister, JTO Fashion, and other producers, I don't want to start a label and sign artists. I feel like as a DJ, I found it really hard to enter the market, and I'm still finding things challenging. So what I'd love to do is support the DJs, the producers, the more behind the sound engineers, the behind the scenes guys that don't get recognition.
Exactly.
For a long time, DJs weren't getting recognition.
True.
It's only recently, the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, that DJs are becoming the superstars. So I'd love to help sort of nurture that structure. So that's on the business. And of course, RVMG as a company, we produce a lot of things. We produced Cuppy Takes Africa, which is the TV show on Fox, which is very exciting. It's a documentary about traveling around Africa, 8 different countries. We produced a documentary, actually, which we haven't quite released.
Okay.
But that's an independent project. It's actually on sort of underground, I guess, artists, which is something we're working on. It's a very exciting project. Then there's a new project that we want to try and start working on in the UK, which involves the diaspora. So we'd love to document and highlight some of the amazing things people do. So that's sort of my business. I do plan on going on tour again next year. I want to do a whole new country. I really encourage people who have never been outside of Nigeria or sort of stuck to their own African country to discover. I mean, Africa has a variety of 54 countries. We tend to generalize it. And I have to say I'm Nigerian. A lot of us Nigerians, we think everything is about Nigeria. It wasn't until I visited Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, Senegal that I realized, wow, there's so much out there. So I encourage people to discover, Pan-Africa really. And, I guess having moved to the UK, I definitely want to get involved. Anything I can do to represent Nigeria. I have a lot of exciting things I want to do. I'd love to start working with the High Commission. There's a lot of exciting things. And just sort of, spreading the news and, sort of positioning myself in a way that, I'm building my brand, I'm DJing, doing bigger, more exciting events, but always taking a piece of Africa with me.
And that's fabulous. I'm so confident that all your dreams will come true.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And, from what you've said right now, I sense, that you're able to multitask, able to balance a lot. So Just about. So what are the challenges, work, life, relationship? How do you balance it all? Because people will be looking at you that I'm sure she has it all settled, but
it is very difficult. Well, I say to a lot of my friends, it comes at a price. Nobody that has achieved anything epic or anything profound has ever not had to sacrifice anything. I'm 24, but my social life is a bit dead. Because when I do have time to see friends, I'm working.
You're working, yeah.
And, it's just a timetabling thing. But, the friends that also understand are there. Not to say I haven't lost them, but, it's all about trying to understand. And sometimes you have to you get out what you put in, and I'm looking at my life and I'm looking at where I want to be, in the future. And it just requires me to put in 101% now. I do tend to surround myself around very like-minded people. From a young age, my mother told me, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. So for me, that kind of stuck by me the whole time. So I made sure that I'm around people that are also very ambitious, also very busy, and always challenging me. I mean, every time I sort of, it's sort of 4 a.m., I've gotten home, I've got a 9 a.m. meeting, I'm like, wow, I'm so tired. I look at my friend's schedule and I'm like, oh, wow, okay, well, all I have to do is call my dad and realize that there are busier people, so you kind of learn to count your blessings. But I've learned to also pace myself. During my master's, during my dissertation, that was difficult, my thesis. I was traveling around the world. I had gigs. I had I think I had Jamaica, Nigeria, and something, I think Geneva, Switzerland, in a week. And I had my dissertation. I just about got through, but I've also learned to kind of balance things out as much as I want. But I always tell people, like, once you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life.
Fabulous. That's so
it
true.
just doesn't feel like work. I mean, it's amazing. So passion for what you do is essential.
Very, very true. You seem like a very passionate person. I know you're passing it on to me, and I'm like, wow, very inspired. And I want you now, to say something encouraging or inspiring to young ladies out there, or even Nigerians in the diaspora around the world who are saying, you know what, I have a dream, I have a goal, I want to be something great, I want to do something great. What would you like to advise them?
I would say to anyone with a dream, you're halfway there. You already have a dream, and I think I'm a firm believer that if you can see it, you can achieve it. So my advice is go for it, work hard. Anything worth doing is worth doing well. So push yourself and it'll happen.
Oh, fabulously and wonderfully said. You're such an inspiration, I'm sure, to me and to many people around the world and your generation too.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I want you just to keep on going, keep on being a good ambassador of the Nigerian culture, the Nigerian spirit.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you much more. Thanks for coming on the Diaspora Lifestyle Show. And we look forward to featuring more episodes and capture what you do and showcase it to the whole world to see.
Absolutely.
Well, I do hope you were inspired and feel empowered by the interview I had with DJ Cuppy. She's such a great person. Now, you've got to leave your dreams and make your own future too today, because every step you take takes you a step closer to your destiny. The success journey is not a sprint, it's one that you work out every single day. So be inspired, be empowered, and keep on living your dreams in every single thing that you do. Make sure you visit our website, diasporalifestyleshow.com, and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn at This Is Jermaine. You can also like our Facebook page, The Diaspora Lifestyle. I look forward to engaging with you. So if you want to showcase your brand, your personality, or your business on this show, make sure you send an email to Jermaine@diasporapl.com, and I look forward to getting you on this show and showcasing what you have to offer to the whole wide world. My name is Jermaine Sanwoolu, CEO of Diaspora PL, photographer and publisher of the Diaspora Lifestyle magazine. Thanks a lot for watching the Diaspora Lifestyle Show.
Are you looking for trusted real estate services? Do you want to buy, sell, rent, invest, and develop your properties in Nigeria or the UK? Don't worry, we'll make your dreams come true. Introducing Diaspora Properties, a trusted, fast-growing international real estate consultancy company. We have the best solutions for investors, property owners, tenants, and developers. Now you can buy, sell, rent, and invest with peace of mind. Own your dream home. Invest in properties. Develop real estate. Expand your territory at diasporaproperties.com. Contact us today.